Hello, it's the Captain, back with another perspective on whatever the hell happened in the prior 12 months, which was quite a bit. A lot of which I'll be covering here, and it's going to be a very different retrospective from your past for reasons that will soon become clear. I do want to start by saying when I began the year, I was afraid that I would not be able to put as much time as I wanted to everything on the channel. And those fears quickly evaporated, and it was all thanks to streaming. Admittedly, creating YouTube Poops live was something I was only partially confident would work out, not because of what I'd be doing on stream, more so with the technical end of the software, the cameras, etc. Heck, in my very first stream, I was using my phone as the camera. But the thing about starting something new is you can't always be afraid of hiccups, and despite all the things that did happen throughout the streams, like power outages, latency issues, and the audio sometimes not coming out right, those streams were easily my favorite thing of the year. Seeing you not only enjoy the process I go through, but actively participating in it, that was a blast. You had a massive influence on the finished works, including one video whose source I did not enjoy. There will be more streams coming this year, including a new one next week. Thank you so much for making them as enjoyable to do as I was hoping. Another thing about the streaming is that it gave me ample opportunity to build something I never had, a pipeline. If you watched at least a few of them, chances are you noticed a few of the projects I started haven't been released yet. And there's a reason for that. They're one of many. In the past, I've typically been a one project at a time person, maybe two. 2023 was a year in which I made significant progress on more than a handful of ones that I wanted to release. There's a boatload just waiting to be completed this year. It all ties into the goal of being able to release more consistently. One thing I've never told you before is outside of YouTube Poop, I work 2 jobs. The hours will vary as often as I need to do overtime or a little extra travel one week, but it typically means that there are too many days a week where I don't sit behind this compy and create. This has been the case since the pandemic was lifted, and while I don't mind some of the work I do, I crave doing this more. With 2 hours of video editing, I can make significant progress on a YouTube Poop. But 2 hours in only 4 days? That's far from satisfying to me. So where am I going with this? In 2024, I'll be leaving one of those jobs to do more of this. At this point, I just want my future to be aligned more with creating videos than anything else. Making YouTube Poop isn't just fun, it's also one of the most intellectually stimulating forms of creation out there. Heck, this past year I made 65 tweets of tips solely on how to sentence mix more efficiently. A lot of the people have had their passion ruined by trying to make this kind of thing into their business. But it feels like the opposite is happening to me. My interest in YouTube Poop is only growing from it. Maybe I'm just the type of person that fits that mold, or maybe I'm still wearing rose-colored glasses. But if that's the case, why haven't I felt exhausted like I did back in the 2010s? I believe as we grow with our passions, they become a part of who we are, and they soon become second nature. The work aspect of all of this is all the stuff I can't perceive as work. One more thing about 2024 is that it's going to mark some new ground for me, and it involves doing something that's been in the back of my mind for years. Before I made a return to YouTube Poop in 2020, I was going through the motions of starting a new YouTube channel for video essays, chiefly about Bollywood movies. However, I also have a lot to say about other things in pop culture and media in general. And with me departing from one of my jobs this year and creating more time, it's giving me an avenue to follow that. If you've followed me since 2008, you may remember an alt account I created called Captain Pan. The purpose of that channel was to have a place to upload videos in case my main channel went tits up. It's done nothing but collect digital dust since then. This year, once I've left my second job, I'll be converting it into a channel for video essays. What am I going to talk about? Anything really. Although I do want to focus on movies, shows, anything culturally relevant, even some out-of-the-box topics. And it's not just something I'm doing with no planning or passion either. Last year, I actively wrote scripts on topics that I found fascinating and wanted to delve into more. I've even gone and recorded drafts of them. I do want to be clear, none of this means I'll be pivoting away from YouTube Poop, nor will I be severely hampering anything involving its creation. If anything, this is going to make things easier for me. You see, writing was one of the ways that I could cool down whenever I needed to decompress. It allowed me to empty my mind of things that were bouncing around. All I'm doing is taking that writing and turning it into a video, one that will be monumentally easier for me to edit together. So far you've heard a lot about 2024, and there's a reason I'm talking about that instead of mostly rehashing 2023. Back in September, I shared a plan with my patrons to go full-time creator, a plan that I thought contained a reasonable timeline. Unfortunately, that timeline has gotten a bit longer due to work circumstances, which is another reason why I'm leaving one of my jobs. But the pipeline I spent over a year building and the setup for this new channel are all part and parcel of this future. I've said it many times before, this is what I want to do full-time, and soldiering forth with this plan does carry a lot of risks. It also means transitioning back and forth between creator and businessman, which is something I'm getting more comfortable with. That's why I bring in my Patreon at the end of these videos and why I encourage you to become one. Not just because you get extra sneak peeks, recognition, and access to whatever else is on the horizon, but because you're also supporting me and getting me closer to a point where I can make these while being self-sufficient. I feel like one of those Wikipedia banners asking for funds each time I bring it up, but by golly do I want this dream to come true. Discovering YouTube poop and making these videos has been one of the single biggest joys in my life. The comments that I've received from you, whether they're thanking me for lifting your spirit or just getting you through a tough time, those give me more satisfaction than any job I've ever had. The only way to make this a reality is through your support though. Sharing, subscribing, commenting, and just being a part of this amazingly freakish creation process. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Galestrom and Average Loser, HJ, Humdinger, I Wretched Reading That, and Zvaden, plus the many others who now support me on Patreon. Thank you so much for believing in me for this long. Wherever you are, I hope you enjoy what's about to come out in 2024. It's a lot to take in, and it's a lot to promise, but I wouldn't be mentioning it if it wasn't already starting to happen. Happy New Year, and get ready for an awesome time.